We have less than a month to go before Thanksgiving, and if you are thinking of changing things up and trying a new recipe this year, now is the time to do it. You don't ever want to be trying a brand new recipe on Thanksgiving Day because it could go horribly wrong. Today, I'm gonna be trying 4 new recipes that I just may incorporate into our Thanksgiving meal. And if they're great, obviously, I hope you'll give them a try too. Hey y'all, I'm Mandy, and this is Mandy in the Making. If you watched last Friday's video, then you know we had a really great cube steak with gravy meal. And with that meal, we had a couple of side items, and that's what I am making today. The first one I'm trying in the crock pot, I'm very excited to try this, are glazed carrots. I think these would be a great addition to Thanksgiving, especially since you can throw it in the crock pot and let it cook all day, so you don't have to worry about it, and you can do other things on the stove while those are cooking. I am cutting this recipe in half because it's just the 3 of us right now, so if you're doing the full recipe, you would need this whole bag. Yeah, 2 pounds of baby carrots. I'm gonna use half the bag today. So we're just putting that in the bottom of this small crock pot. You can use a larger crock pot if you're doing the full recipe. Now we're just gonna sprinkle it with a little bit of salt, not a lot. We need about a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I'm just gonna eyeball this. We're gonna just go with it. We need some brown sugar. I'm gonna do not quite 1/4 cup because I am cutting this in half. If you're doing the whole recipe, you do 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Okay, let's go ahead and just toss that. Now, if you have maple syrup, you're gonna use maple syrup. I thought I had maple syrup. I don't. I'm gonna have to add that to my next Thrive Market order. But I do have honey, so we're gonna go with honey this time. A good amount. Let's toss that again. And then I just need to cube this butter. I just have a couple of tablespoons of butter, and we're just gonna put the butter all over top. It doesn't get any easier than this, and if these turn out great, that is gonna be something for sure I wanna add to the list for Thanksgiving. So now I just need to pop the lid on, and these are gonna cook on low for 5 to 6 hours. If you're in a hurry, you could do it on high for about 3 hours. Now this particular one, I have to just do low for 8. But it is 12 o'clock now. We'll be eating around between 5 and 6, so it'll be perfect timing. So these are gonna cook all day long. Moving on to our second recipe for Thanksgiving. So for me, Thanksgiving, as much as I love it, has a lot of heavy foods. So I've never really done a fruit salad, and I found this recipe online and it's labeled a Thanksgiving fruit salad. So I thought, you know what, let's try that. It's a good palate cleanser for all the heavy items that you've got on the table. First things first, I have some pecan halves. I'm doing about half of the recipe again because it's just the 3 of us. So I have about a 1/2 cup of these, and I'm gonna put this in the oven while the oven preheats to 350. And then pretty much as soon as the oven is preheated to 350, these will be coming out. So these are gonna heat up along with the oven. Okay, now I have this small saucepan here, and we are just going to make our dressing for the salad because it needs to come up to a simmer and kind of simmer for just a few minutes, and then we gotta let it cool. So I'm adding in 1/4 cup of orange juice. Again, this is for half of the recipe. I've got 2 tablespoons of sugar. We need 1/8 of a teaspoon of apple pie spice. And then I have this lemon and orange here. This is just a large navel orange. We're gonna do the zest of half of a lemon and the zest of half of the orange into the saucepan as well. And I am turning this on to about medium heat to get it going. No ma'am. I don't have anything for you right now. You been napping? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna stir this to combine, and we just need it to come up to a low boil, and then I'll slow it down. I'll lower it down and let it simmer for a good 3 or 4 minutes. Obviously, this is not a lot of liquid, so it's not gonna take long to come up to a boil at all. Okay, our oven is not quite to 350. It's getting close. However, I'm gonna go ahead and hit cancel because I can smell the pecans, and that's how you know they're done. So let's take these out. Oh, they smell so good. And we're just gonna let these cool while I am working on this. Now I've got this Granny Smith apple and this Honeycrisp apple. I'm just going to chop these up into bite-sized pieces. Okay, so this has come up to a little boil here. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit, and I'm gonna let this simmer for 3 or 4 minutes. Let me set my timer so I don't forget. I'm over there chopping up other fruit. There we go. Okay, so I've got both apples in here. To prevent them from browning, we are going to squeeze a little bit of lemon juice over top, and I'm just gonna toss them around in the lemon juice. Now I just need to peel my orange and then slice it into bite-sized pieces as well. This was done, so I moved it off of the heat. We're gonna let this cool completely. I'm actually gonna pour it into a different cup because this particular pot retains heat really, really well. Also, it says you can strain out the bits, like the lemon zest and stuff. I'm debating on whether I'm gonna do that or not. I made the executive decision. I am just gonna go ahead and strain it. So I'm gonna pour it in here and just leave behind the zest. So now this is gonna cool for the next little bit while I finish chopping up my fruit. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me if you're like me. I don't like oranges very much because of this kind of bitter white part of the skin that gets left behind when you peel it. So I'm trying to get the larger amounts of that off. I know some people don't mind that at all, Stephen being one of them. He doesn't mind if there's a little bit of that on there. It bothers me though. So I'm just kind of chopping that off. But now that I've got it all off, I'm gonna go through and chop this into bite-sized pieces. We got Cole in the making over here, making him a sandwich.
Making a sandwich.
He's got some ham and some roast beef.
We're just gonna,
and bread with a hole in it.
we're just gonna take mayonnaise.
That ain't mayonnaise.
That ain't mayonnaise.
Okay, well,
We'll take the mustard.
that's the end of that.
All right. Well, that's it. We ain't
You don't want mayonnaise?
No, I want mayonnaise. I don't know why I said mayonnaise.
What are you gonna do on this side?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't make it like I do.
Then we come in here. We just take a glob of it.
A glob of roast beef, y'all.
Boom. Looky there. And then we get the extra good stuff.
Okay.
And then we just rip it open. Take another glob.
Glob of ham.
This is ham. There you go.
Yeah.
Fold it.
That's all. That's how you make your sandwich.
That's how you make it.
I don't make it like I
Zero
do.
effort.
It is time to assemble. So I have my, I almost said tomatoes. No, these are apples. I have my apples. I've also got about a half a cup of grapes. My grapes were rather large, so I cut them in half. We've got our oranges going in. I've got about a half a cup of dried cranberries going in. Let me go grab our pecans. I may have just ate one. Quality control. We've got our dressing here. I had put it in the fridge to help really cool it down quickly. Is she not pretty? I mean, she's pretty. Or as we say in the South, she real pretty. I'm gonna take a bite now because I'm too impatient. I can't wait. If you have never made a fruit salad with this dressing, you gotta do it. I could sit here and eat or stand here and eat this entire thing. That dressing is so good. It's tangy but sweet because it's the orange juice, but it's got sugar in there. It's got that little bit of apple pie spice in there, so it adds just that little Thanksgiving flair with the seasonings, or the spices, I guess I should say. Y'all have got to make this. Wow. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, then you know that Stephen and I really enjoy growing a garden during the summer and trying our hand at different produce. And when I say Stephen and I mean mostly Stephen because I do not have a green thumb. Well, what if I told you that I now have a garden that even I can maintain, and it's year round, and it's in my dining room. Today's video is sponsored by Garden, which is an award-winning vertical gardening system for growing herbs, fruits, vegetables, and even flowers. And the best part, it's indoors, so it's year round. It uses a combination of hydroponic technology and LED lighting to create an optimal growing environment for plants. Each garden uses AI-powered technology to help you get the best results out of your garden. With a garden membership, you get a personal AI assistant named Kelby that uses the garden's sensors and cameras to coach you on the garden's needs through the Garden app. When ordering your garden, you can choose from over 60 fruits, vegetables, herbs, flowers, and they all come as seeds. And these seeds are carefully selected, organic, locally sourced, and non-GMO, so they will yield a high quality produce. By having your garden, you are eliminating harmful pesticides and drastically reducing water usage by up to 95%. I have to tell you that this is the freshest salad I've ever had. You can't get any fresher than this. Wow. I feel really proud because I have not, it's foolproof. I haven't messed it up, and if that's saying a lot. If I can do it, you can do it too. So go unlock an exclusive offer from Garden by clicking on the link in my description box below. So for Thanksgiving, you may make the same dessert every year, kind of like I do. I normally make my double layer pumpkin cheesecake, which don't get me wrong, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I thought I would try a new one just to see. And I'm trying it early so that I know which I like better, or if I want to make both or one or the other. And we all know I am not the best baker, so this one caught my eye because it said no bake. This is a no bake marshmallow pumpkin pie. Okay, I've got these large marshmallows. It's a 10-ounce bag. Yeah, 10-ounce bag. We need the whole thing, and we're gonna pop it here into this saucepan. I am heating the saucepan to about medium-low. Quality control. We're also gonna add in 1 cup of pumpkin puree. Now I'm gonna add in half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and about a half a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Now this says the main thing you wanna do is just stir these around, or stir this around pretty frequently until it's completely melted down. We gotta let those marshmallows completely melt. I'm gonna kind of babysit this here on the stove top. They're already starting to melt on the bottom, so that's a good thing. I'll be back. Okay, it's been 5 or 6 minutes. We're getting there quickly. I'm just constantly stirring. So after this is done, we're gonna take it out and put it in a mixing bowl. And once we put it in that mixing bowl, we're gonna let it sit out at room temperature for about 30 minutes. That's what we want before we move on to our next step. Okay, y'all, it has been 30 minutes. This is now pretty much room temperature. I've got an 8-ounce package or container of Cool Whip. It has thawed. We're gonna take that and stir it into this. Okay, this has lightened up a good bit. I think I've got it all mixed together. This is a 6-ounce graham cracker crust. Say that 3 times fast. Graham cracker crust. There we go. I think that equates to a 9-inch. I'm not sure, but just look for the 6-ounce. This should fill this up perfectly. Okay, I'm just gonna smooth this out. Now here's the worst part of the whole recipe. You have to wait 8 hours at least. I'm making it today. I'm just gonna leave it overnight. But the good part, I guess, I say it's worst part of the recipe, it's just because I can't eat it today like I want to. But the good part is you can make this up to a couple of days before Thanksgiving and just leave it in the fridge. And you already have that part done. So when it comes down to the day, you're not running around all crazy trying to do your pie as well. It's better if you do it earlier. I'm gonna put the lid back on this and we're gonna stick it in the fridge and we will taste test this tomorrow. Trying to work.
You still rolling? What's up?
Roll on out of here. Okay, it is next day, which means it is time. I'm so excited about this. I'm about to have lunch. I have a Crockpot meal going in front of me and it smells so good. I'm about to eat some leftovers from last night's Crockpot meal for lunch, but we're gonna have dessert first today. How's that sound? I am so excited. Okay, if you have more Cool Whip, that would be good on top, obviously. I don't have any more, so I'm just gonna go with this, but bon appetit. I don't have Steven here to tink with. You ready? We're gonna tink. Tink. How to describe this? First of all, it's not overwhelmingly pumpkin. You can taste pumpkin, don't get me wrong, but the Cool Whip and the marshmallows definitely tone that down, but you can tell there's marshmallows in it. Obviously they don't have the normal consistency because we melted them down. I don't know how to describe that. The consistency is not just like a Cool Whip pie. It has a little bit of that marshmallow texture to it. I love it. You know what would take this over the top? Would be an Oreo crust. You've seen those at the grocery store. You can get them instead of just the graham cracker crust, the Oreo crust. That little bit of chocolate would take it over. You could definitely put some chocolate syrup on this too. But this is coming from a chocoholic, so do with that as you will. I love the consistency of it. Which one will I make for Thanksgiving? Even though they're both pumpkin, the double layer pumpkin cheesecake and then this one, I feel like they're so different because one of them is more cheesecakey. And I know that's like my dad's favorite and we don't need two. So I don't know. I'm gonna talk to Daddy and just see what Dad says. And if he's good with trying this one, then I kind of want to make this one. There's something about the consistency of this one that I just absolutely love. It's good stuff, y'all. You should try it. Okay, we are making another Thanksgiving dish now. Steven is over here diligently working. He is chopping up some Yukon Gold potatoes. We are making a twist on mashed potatoes. Now stay with me. Not too long ago, I made a mashed potato casserole that I said would be great for Thanksgiving, and I still stand by that. And if you haven't seen that video, I will link it below. This recipe caught my eye because this is buttermilk mashed potatoes. Steven is all about some buttermilk. Oh, I see those eyebrows up. Yeah. He's all about some buttermilk. He loves it. You'll just drink buttermilk just straight out.
I mean, I like to eat it a little bit
with your cornbread. You drink it with your cornbread.
Yeah, kind of like a soup and crumble your cornbread in that.
So we've got 2 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes peeled and diced in there. Now we've got some buttermilk. We need about 3/4 a cup right now. We'll use a little bit more later. Now I do want to mention that I am halving this recipe. So now we've got 1/3 cup of water going in. We need less than 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So I've got this here. I'm just gonna throw that in. And I'm also gonna throw maybe 1/2 teaspoon of salt in. We've got 6 tablespoons of butter here, but right now all we need is 3. That's gonna go in. Okay, so we've got this here on the stove. We're gonna bring this to a boil. So I'm gonna turn this to almost high. This particular cookware, you don't want to go all the way on high. Once this comes up to a boil, we will cover it and reduce the heat. Okay, it's about 30 minutes before we're gonna eat. So what I'm gonna do is take the lid off of this and I'm gonna switch it over to high heat. This is supposed to help thicken the glaze. I'm gonna toss these, hang on one sec. So I turned it over to high. We're gonna leave the lid off for 30 minutes until it's time to eat. Okay, it has come up to a boil. So what I'm gonna do is stir this around and we're going to lower the heat to medium low and we're gonna cover this quickly. And this is gonna cook for a good 20 to 25 minutes. It doesn't have a ton of water in there or a ton of liquid in there. So keeping that lid on there and letting it simmer for 20 to 25 minutes, the potatoes should be perfect. And at this point, we're gonna stir this. We're gonna turn the heat up to about medium and we're gonna stir this pretty constantly for the next 3 minutes. We're gonna get most of the liquid to evaporate. That's the goal. I think we're just about there. So, yeah, I think we're good. So at this point, I'm gonna turn the heat off. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, this butter that we have here is unsalted, but I'm gonna add in the other 3 tablespoons. Now I'm gonna take my potato masher and start mashing them up. So I mashed those up, they're good and creamy. We're gonna go in with another 1/4 cup of buttermilk just to make it extra creamy. And then you'll salt and pepper it as you need, and that's it. If you were here on Friday, you already know about this dish here. If you missed that video, I'll link it below. But now he's gonna try these buttermilk mashed potatoes.
Very buttery.
Is that a good thing or a bad
That's
thing?
a good thing.
Okay.
It's interesting.
It's very different than what you're used to.
It's very rich.
Okay.
And buttery.
All right.
And kind of velvety.
Oh, I like that description.
It's like a velvety sort of buttery.
Oh, I have a question.
That's really good.
Can you tell them what your thoughts are on the fruit salad?
Oh, fruit salad was delicious. That's probably one of the best fruit salads I've ever had.
He didn't know what I had put in it, and he said, "Is there cinnamon in this?" I said, "Well, there's apple pie spice."
That was delicious.
It is good. I mean, and you can eat that guilt-free. So
it tasted like a dessert.
Yeah, it's so delicious.
It was really good.
Yeah. All right, so we love the buttermilk mashed potatoes. Cole, I think, has completely devoured all of his.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I love them. I love the lumpiness of it too. I like my mashed potatoes a little lumpy.
I mashed them up as good as I could with just the masher.
I like the little texture in there. I like that.
All right, now try your, these are supposed to be maple glazed carrots, but I was out of maple syrup.
It's out of maple.
So it's honey glazed carrots.
Honey glazed, all right.
I did honey.
Let's see. Wow.
What was that look to Cole for?
These are like candied carrots.
Yeah. They've got a lot of sweetness to them.
A lot of sweetness to them.
Okay. Well, it balances out this meal because everything else is real savory.
I love it. It's very very much a contrast from the rest of it.
Okay.
And it's a welcomed contrast.
Okay.
Very good.
Well, I'm so happy.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy too.
Cole is too. I'm sitting over here, I haven't taken the first bite, y'all. Not the first bite. Do you see
Don't take too long.
what is happening over there?
Chowing down.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to dig into all of it, but this is a winner.
Yeah.
So there you have it. 4 new recipes to give a try before Thanksgiving if you don't already make those. But let me know in the comments, what's one recipe that you would never ever change up and it will always be on Thanksgiving other than the turkey and dressing. Don't put those. But another side dish that you would never ever change. let me know below. Also, don't forget to check out the description box below. I've got a link to garden. So if you're interested in learning more about garden and possibly getting a garden for yourself, they've got an exclusive offer for you. Thank y'all for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.